So, welcome to Ukraine Train Chop Shop, and we are doing RCI cable to connect the TI cc3 head unit to a rear entertainment system on the Toyota Sienna. So we will need a cable, and we will need to splice the other end, because the way I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna show you later, but you'll splice the other end, and you're gonna have it on the outside is your ground, and the red cable is your signal coming in. Stand by for more info. So here we are, getting my soldering tool. Iron is nice and hot, and I'm gonna put some solder on this both ends to make it a little more sturdy and presentable. And I'm gonna show you how to connect your head unit to your rear entertainment system. Here we are. Yeah, I was trying to start making these videos because I've been tinkering quite a bit with a lot of stuff, but I'm just waiting for the solder to get hot. Not the best tool I have, but it does the job. Here we are. Get a nice little bottle going. I mean, obviously there's more ways, more than one way to skin the cat. However, this is the route I chose. So I'm gonna put some solder on it, so it's gonna make my life a little easier when I am gonna try to go directly into RCA rear entertainment system harness. Not exactly an electrician, but get it done. Obviously you don't want those cables stretched, that's why I left a little bit of insulation on the red wire. And it's good enough for a government work. So here we are. So coming back to our project here, bought this cc3 Teyes head unit. Pretty impressed with it. I'm not getting paid to do any reviews on it. However, awesome unit. Still a little bit of bugs, but big upgrade from the stock system, which I'm having which is sitting in the garage right now. But long story short, you will need to purchase, if you have an RCA connection, this HDMI to RCA signal input, which gonna plug in directly into your USB cable, provided by Teyes or any other head unit that Android makes or manufactures. And basically any Android head unit will provide you at least one USB cable, and it's coming out. So that's the part. I think it was about 20 bucks from AliExpress. Amazon sells them for 37, and you're gonna plug that in there. You will be able to get about two signals coming out of it. So if you have a headrest TVs, you can connect both of them. So long story short, you plug this hand in, And what we're gonna see is, this is your RCA connector that is gonna supply your TV. I'm assuming it's going from DVD player. It has to be connected. Well, what I'm gonna do here, so the brown wire, if you can see it, brown wire is gonna be your signal coming in, and the yellow wire is gonna be your negative, which is your ground. So the outside layer of the splice that I just did, so the outside, this guy right here, that's your ground. The cable that are just pretty much destroyed, so to speak, and the red wire is going to be a signal coming in. Don't mix them up. So your red wire is going to get spliced into a brown wire just like that. I'm going to solder it in, make it look all nice, and then I'm going to run underneath that dash here, which should be a pretty easy thing to do. That way it's gonna be nice and pretty, and I'm still gonna be able to use my track here with no problems, because I don't have to hide a wire underneath the mounting plate. So long story short, stand by. I'm gonna splice it in, and we're gonna keep going with this video. Alright, welcome back. It's freaking raining outside, and I always pick the worst days of doing this stuff, but I'm at home and I'm bored, so I'm gonna do this. So what I did is, I used this nice little butane torch, and I burned some of the insulation off on both wires. I burned the brown wire a little towards the plug, and the yellow wire a little further down, pretty much exposing them. The reason of doing so, even though I'm going to insulate them, reseal them with electrical tape, but I don't want them to touch, basically, even if something happens. That's why if the one is going to be spliced in or soldered in a little further up, and the other one's going to be soldered in a little further down. So when something happens, hopefully they're not going to touch. And I routed my cable pretty much underneath this panel that is easy to lift up, as long as you remove those two bolts. The way to get to that bolt, you're going to have this tray in the way with a little lock on top of your console, little storage place. So this basically just pops off if you pry on it a little bit. And this faceplate for it pretty much has like a few clips on it, so it's pretty much easy to remove as well. So I'm gonna solder those two guys in. Once again, my red wire is gonna go to a brown wire, which is gonna be my signal wire, and the ground next to it is gonna solder. I'm gonna solder it straight into the yellow wire. Welcome back. So in my solder job here, I have my ground going to my yellow wire, and my red wire is going to a brown wire. Not the best job, but once again, I'm not doing this for a living. But if you can save me $800-900 of installing system myself, and you know, yeah. So I'm gonna insulate the wires with a little bit of electrical tape on both sides. Remember, you have to put the plug back in, otherwise it's not gonna work, because it still needs positive signals. Something's gotta feed your entertainment unit, and that's all gonna come from your console, or I would assume. I didn't go into a drawing too much, but I just looked at our RCA connections, and I found this little guy here. I'm sure it's getting the power somewhere through the fuses, like ECU or maybe a DVD player, but really doesn't concern me as long as it works. So here we go. I'm gonna do the installation and I'll show you how to route a cable and what else needs to be done to have your entertainment system, to have your head unit display the picture or mirror on the picture to your rear entertainment head unit. I'm sure it could be, once again, we're working with Toyota Sienna 2011 Limited here. I'm sure it could be done on any other system using that has an older RCA connection, audio, video, and sorry, it's my first video, so I'm gonna slur a lot of English words here. Anywho, so stay tuned for more info. Here we are, welcome back. So, got my taping job done. Electrical tape is good to go. I'm a big fan of electrical tape and I'm trying to insulate as much as possible, so don't make fun of me over that. So we're gonna plug in our original connector back in. Being a pain in the dick. There you go. So we got this part done. I'm gonna take my cover off here. It's just 2 bolts, and because I have my USB cable hidden under this dash, that way it's out of sight, out of mind. And to take this dash off, basically there's a bolt. I don't know if you can see it. There's gonna be one 10mm bolt here, and you will have to remove that side piece that is literally just pops off, and it's gonna expose another 10mm bolt here. After that, you just pull on the panel and it should come loose. Okay, last step to this project. So I have my USB cable routed pretty much. There's my USB cable coming off the Android head unit, routed out pretty much through there. I have my adapter connected to it. Put some electrical tape once again between the connections, that way it doesn't decide to come loose at me. And I'm gonna plug the end of my RCA cable that I pretty much molested for the past 20 minutes. And I'm gonna plug it in at either outputs. It should work. Let's go with video 1. So I have it plugged in. We have our other end of a cable, which is right here, running underneath. I'm gonna tuck it all away pretty much along this line, the trim pieces, that way it's not seen and it looks all factory. And I'm gonna secure it with zip ties going right here. But I mean, there's more ways of to skin the cat. There's a lot of different ways. This is how I'm gonna do it, but you get the idea. So we're gonna turn our ignition on. Well, I just started the car. This is a head unit. Pretty impressed with it so far. And has a lot of cool features. And you can download Netflix, pretty much any app from a Play Store, YouTube, connect your phone to it. A lot of cool things. So let's pretend our head unit going. Oh, last but not least, so you think you were done, you did all that work, but look at here, nothing displays on my screen. So